This is the story of the slave trade between Europe and Africa, a tragic tale of coastal villages raided and men, women and children carried off into captivity, loaded onto ships, taken to be sold as slaves in another continent and never seeing their homes again. Long before the British ever became involved in the slave trade, slavers out of Africa were raiding not only the British Isles but many other European countries, from Iceland to Malta, Ireland to Spain and Italy to the Netherlands, carrying off white slaves to be sold in the slave markets of Africa. There was a very old tradition of slavery in Africa, long before the coming of Europeans. Black empires enslaved neighbouring nations, various tribes made slaves of outsiders, the Arabs took black people for slaves, and sometimes the other way round. Slavery was an old African tradition, and it is not to be wondered at that it flourished on what became known as the Barbary Coast. Of course, everybody knows about Europeans going to Africa and taking the people off into slavery. It's taught in schools. White slavery is not so well known. How extensive was this trade? Current estimates suggest that the number of Europeans captured and taken to Africa numbered in the millions. Cervantes, author of Don Quixote, was a slave in Africa for several years before being ransomed. The conditions of the white slaves in Africa were sometimes worse than those of the black slaves in the Caribbean and America. Some were routinely castrated to create eunuchs to guard harems. Others were kept as galley slaves, not setting foot ashore for years on end.
Folks, I simply don't know what to say. When I came across this little piece of history, my entire worldview and understanding of the victimhood hierarchy was completely shattered. Where does this leave our progressive movement, knowing that the white man was once enslaved in Africa? I have no idea. I said before that without the ability to claim victimhood status, then us progressives stand for absolutely nothing. And so I put forth a great deal of thought into how we can rectify this historical inconvenience with our current victimhood ideology, which is based on the idea that the white man, and only the white man, has oppressed everyone and everything since the dawn of the white man. And eventually, I came up with a solution. We must include people of colorlessness into the victimhood hierarchy, with the assertion that they have even oppressed themselves. Of course, people of colorlessness will be placed at the bottom of the victimhood hierarchy. But what this means is that everyone is now a victim, and therefore a progressive. So maybe this turns out to be a very good thing. Except for one small problem, which is figuring out exactly how much reparations the white man owes to himself. And that's all I got to say. This is Chingron, signing out. If you enjoyed this video, then please like and subscribe. And until next time.